Greetings everyone, this is Rob Sanders from Simplilearn, and today we're going to talk about how to get traffic to your website. So thank you for joining, and let's get started. Before I tell you how to bring traffic to your website, let me tell you why this is so important. Okay, why do we want to bring users to our website? I mean, it has to be on equal ground as web development and design. Is somebody who goes to your site and then does something when they get to your site. So you have users, and when those users get to your site, they're generating page views and traffic. And you want to turn that traffic into engagement. Okay, so each page's traffic is configured independently of all their pages. So when somebody goes to your website, they look at a page, that's a page view. And certain pages on your website, you want to turn that page view into a conversion. Okay, whether that be, looking at a video or purchasing something. So think of these pages on your website as salespeople. They're trying to convert visitors who come to your website. But first, we need to get the visitors to your website. So when you get visitors to your website, again, you can generate sales, which means revenue. Or you can increase brand awareness. Or you can earn revenue through sponsored posts and advertisements. So if you have, for example, a lot of content on your website, you can turn that into revenue by hosting ads on your website. So when somebody clicks on that ad, you're going to earn a percentage of that click, okay, what that click is worth. So having a website means a lot of good things for you, but first you got to get the traffic there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to tell you how to drive traffic to your website. So there's lots of different ways in which you can bring traffic to your website. Well, the first is paid advertising. So paying to advertise your products, services with ads is one of the easiest ways to drive traffic to your website. So some of the options available are search ads, social media ads, or display ads. So search ads are ads that are displayed in the search engine results. So when a user types in a keyword query, you want your ad to show up based on that keyword query. Okay, so an example is digital marketing course. Somebody types in digital marketing course, and Simplilearn is the first ad that shows up. How do we know it's an ad? Because you can see the word ad next to the domain. So when somebody clicks on that link, Simplilearn is going to pay Google. So that's how search advertising works. Okay, the next is social. So social media marketing involves increasing traffic or engagement or brand awareness, lots of different strategies. But instead of doing this on search, you're doing it on a social media platform. Okay, so for example, you can advertise on any particular platform. And the way you advertise could be with an image, it could be with a video. So in this case, you could see Cobrio is doing a sponsored ad here, how to succeed with Google Ads. And then another form of advertising is display. So display means creating ads that are placed on specific websites. So with display, unlike search, you have a choice in the ad format. With search, you only have text ads. But with display, you have text ads, image ads, rich media ads, video ads. So you have lots of different options in which you can advertise on other websites. So the idea here is to get your ad in front of the right audience. When they could see your display banner, your banner ad, then it's going to be more visual, more appealing, generate some brand interest, and hopefully you can get somebody to click on that ad and over to your website. So that's paid advertising, again, through search, through social, through display, but you can also promote your site on social media. So once your content has gone live, you could take advantage of different social media platforms. I mean, it really depends on what you're trying to promote, because what you're trying to promote needs to align with the appropriate social media platform. So Facebook is best suited for industries like food and beverages and news and media, and if you're selling a product. So you fall under one of those categories, and Facebook could be the right platform for you. If you're involved in, again, beauty or food and beverage or e-commerce, then you can also leverage Instagram, which is part of Facebook's ecosystem. So if you advertise on Facebook, you can also advertise on Instagram or Instagram. So it doesn't have to be and Facebook and Instagram. It could be Facebook or Instagram. You also have LinkedIn as a platform. LinkedIn is great for B2B. So if you're trying to promote industry news or tips and best practices or job postings, then LinkedIn is the place for you. It's a B2B platform. It's great for targeting specific industries, targeting specific job levels or job descriptions. Okay, so LinkedIn is great if you're into B2B, focusing on the business side of it. So you also have YouTube. Now, YouTube is part of Google's ecosystem. YouTube is a video platform. Okay, so it's great if you're trying to promote gaming or entertainment, or if you're a vlogger. Okay, so YouTube's a great way to promote your site by getting your product out there in the form of a video. Okay, then you have Twitter. Twitter, to me, encompasses a lot of different industries: beauty and fitness, news and media, entertainment. Okay, you have limited number of characters, but a lot of people are active on Twitter. And it's a great way to generate some awareness and get some clicks over to your website. So these are just some of the most popular social media platforms. Of course, there are plenty more out there. The third way in which you can drive traffic to your site is guest blogging. So most of you already know what blogging is all about. Well, if you're blogging for your own site, you can jump on somebody else's site and blog on their behalf. So having the opportunity to guest post on another website can be very helpful because, one, that other blog could have lots of traffic and have a well-known brand. So if you're blogging on another blog, it's going to build your brand awareness and potentially increase traffic to your blog or website. So it exposes you to targeted traffic. So if you're going to guest blog on a site that's very relevant to your business or industry. That way you're targeting the right audience. Okay, you can expand your personal network. So getting yourself out there, getting your brand out there in front of a different audience. And then obviously for SERPs, because it generates a backlink. So SERPs, search engine ranking pages, means that, hey, if you want to rank organically, you're going to have to generate some backlinks. So guest blogging is a way to generate some backlinks to your site. And in effect, that's going to help you get your pages ranked higher because Google is going to recognize the relationship from one blog to your blog and build up your relevancy. So some other benefits here to guest blogging is you can grow your social media following because you can then promote that on social media that you're guest blogging. Okay, again, you can improve your online authority, okay, because when you're guest blogging and you have recognition on that guest blog, if it's a popular blog, then that's going to help your domain and page authority for SEO. And then the end result is going to improve your backlink score. So there are a lot of benefits to guest blogging. To me, at the end of the day, it's just about reaching out to your audience, using another platform to do that in the form of a blog. And the results of that is going to mean more brand awareness for you in turning that traffic from that other blog into qualified leads. So you can also interview industry thought leaders. So that's another way, an interesting way to generate traffic to your site. So reaching out to thought leaders for interviews, okay, could generate some credibility for you and the other person. So it's reciprocal. So it means that you're active in the industry that you're in. And it allows you to engage with other leaders in the industry. And the indirect net result of that could be increased traffic because if you do the interview and you record it, or if it's via video, then you can obviously post it on other platforms. And that could in turn drive traffic to your website. Obviously, just like guest blogging, it's going to increase your reach. So getting yourself out there. If nobody knows who your brand is, and they know who the thought leaders are, and they see you interviewing the thought leaders, then that's going to put you in front of these people. And so it's going to increase your reach. Another way to drive traffic to your website is just to make sure your website's responsive. And what do we mean by responsive? Well, we mean, does it work on multiple devices, specifically mobile? So depending on the device, your website hides, shows, shrinks, enlarges, or moves content so that it conforms to the browser that person's looking at on for your website. So if somebody's looking on mobile at your website, you want to make sure that your website adjusts accordingly. So you want to be able to, test to make sure it's responsive. And so is content arranged based on importance? Okay, does it work across different browsers on different devices? and do the images, text, and everything else align just like it does on desktop. So there are plenty of tools out there on the web. All you need to do is just do a search for, check my website for responsiveness. So you can use plenty of tools to check to see if your website is responsive towards multiple devices. Why is that important? Because if somebody goes to your website via mobile and your site doesn't align properly, or the content's all stretched out and somebody has to maneuver their browser just to see your website, then chances are they're not going to come back. Chances are they're not going to convert. Okay, so you want to be able to revise your device browser combinations. You want to make sure that everything works accordingly. You want to be able to test those fonts, make sure they look good. And then you also want to make sure that people can navigate. So if they're on mobile, are they going to navigate just as easy as they can on desktop? And if you have any pop-ups, you want to probably make sure they're removed. So that way when somebody's looking at your website, they're not getting interfered with on mobile. And then, of course, you want to make sure that these pages load. Okay, so they load just as quick on desktop as they should on mobile, and vice versa. So they should not take a long time to load. So moving on from responsiveness on mobile to building a brand community. So brand community refers to a group of people who identify your brand and use your brand as a platform to exchange ideas and contribute content. Some advantages of having a brand community are promoting brand evangelism and loyalty. It can be a source of feedback, loyalty, and ideas. So build a community, build a brand community who, identify with you. Okay, so continue to, treat these people as loyal customers. Okay, maybe give them a promotion to use specifically just for them that they can use on your website, or talk directly to them because you know that they're followers, they're repeat customers, they purchase from you multiple times. So talk to them differently as well. You know who these people are. And that's what building a brand's all about. It's about identifying your brand with other people, okay? And identify people who identify with your brand, and messaging and talking to them as if they're part of your own community, your own family. So you can use user-generated content that provides future marketing strategies. So the feedback you get from your own community could be in turn used to promote or used in future marketing strategies, i.e. advertising, i.e. post on social. Okay, it can also provide PR opportunities. So it's a chance for you to, put out press releases based on the community that you built. So any brand, regardless of who it is, should be able to identify with their audience, their target audience, and that target audience eventually going to become part of a community. These are a group of people who identify with you, what you're trying to sell, what your cause is, what your mission statement is, what your service is. They identify with you. So leverage them and reciprocate. Identify them, talk to them separately, give them what they deserve, the respect and loyalty that they deserve as well, because they're communicating and they're following you as a brand. So the next thing you could do to drive traffic is be active in the comment section. So engage in relevant and thought-provoking conversations on other blogs and sites. It doesn't necessarily have to be another blog per se. It could be other sites like Reddit or Quora or Medium. Sites that have a lot of content that are broken out by industry, that allow you to engage in conversation, that allow you to either upvote or share or respond. Okay, so be active, because when you're active, people are going to see that, hey, you're a leader in the industry. You know what you're talking about. You have some brand equity. You have some thought and some knowledge on the specific topic and subject. So it just puts you in a better light when you can respond and be active on these different platforms. Okay, let's turn our attention to search engine optimization, also known as SEO or organic search. So in order to drive traffic to your site, you're going to have to implement an SEO strategy. Why do you want to implement an SEO strategy? Because it can help you improve your overall searchability and visibility on search engines. And obviously that comes with advantages. One of those advantages is obviously more traffic to the site. search is still king in terms of volumes of people using search on a daily basis. So you have a great opportunity to be found. It also builds trust and credibility because still a majority of the people who do a search click on an organic search listing. And so if you're found organically and you're ranked number one, then chances are somebody's going to click on your listing. And it provides increased engagement and traffic. And so what that means is more traffic, more engagement. And engagement is something you define. It could be, again, a download of a document or the clicking on the play button of a video or submitting a form or signing up for a newsletter or calling. These are all forms of engagement. So the amount of traffic you drive from organic search to your website is only going to improve engagement. Okay, so you can also provide an improved user experience. And what do we mean by that? Well, if you're getting lots of traffic from organic search, you have a really good opportunity to do A/B testing. And when you do A/B testing, you can improve user experience, meaning you're showing one variation against the other from people coming from organic search. And so this is helpful in that, if you're running an A/B test, the variation has a chance to improve or outperform the original. And if it outperforms the original, you're improving user experience. And then it helps target quality traffic. So SEO to me, or all search, is the only medium in which you're meeting somebody halfway. You're addressing what they're looking for. So if somebody's looking for a pair of red women's Nike shoes, the 2019 model, and you have that particular product to offer, well, you have a chance of showing up via organic search. Somebody types in, women's red Nike shoes, size whatever, at the year 2019 model, then of course they're going to likely click on your listing because you have what they're looking for. And that goes with any keyword, any industry, any business, any segment, any type of product you're selling. So again, you have a chance to really be visible for what people are looking for. And so that's the beauty of search engine optimization. You have a really good opportunity here to meet people halfway, to drive quality traffic, to get them to enjoy a good user experience, all the while generating engagement. And along with SEO, we want to be able to build backlinks. So SEO is a two-pronged approach, meaning you have two strategies in one, on page and off page. And so off page involves backlinking. So backlinks are just links that direct users from other websites to your own website. So with that, inherently, it's going to drive traffic, qualified traffic to your website. Because if somebody's on a relevant website that's linking to yours, and they click on that link and go to your website, it's likely going to be qualified, meaning they're going to be relevant. And so backlinking, because it's an off-page strategy. Why is it an off-page SEO strategy? Because if Google crawls that other site that has a link to you, then that's going to give you credit because Google will say, hey, this site's getting some links from some relevant sites. We must think they're relevant, and therefore we're going to trust this site. So by Google trusting your site, it's going to improve your organic ranking. And with the organic rankings being improved, meaning it's going to mean faster indexing. So what does that mean? So you want to be indexed by the search engines. And so the quicker Google can find your pages, even if it's on somebody else's site, then that means they're going to follow that link, go to that page on your site, and take that page back to their servers to be indexed. Okay, so the quicker you can get indexed, the quicker you can get found. And then it helps with referral traffic. So again, we noticed that our efforts are on SEO, organic search, but if you're getting traffic from another website, hey, that still counts. That's referral traffic. Okay, so that's a side advantage to having backlinks, is good traffic from other sites. Okay, so those are inherently some of the reasons to do backlinking. Okay, never hurts. I mean, there's brand awareness reasons to being on other sites as well. There's industry leadership, meaning if you post content on Reddit, okay, you're coming across as an industry leader, but yet generating a backlink, which helps with SEO and referral traffic. So there's a lot of benefits to building backlinks. And the opposite of backlinks are internal links. So you want to do internal linking, and that just means connecting one page on your site to another. And why is that beneficial? Because it can help direct visitors to other pages they wouldn't normally otherwise find via your navigation. So if you're active on a blog, don't be afraid to include multiple internal links. You want to move people through your site. You want the flow of traffic to go from one page to another to another. And so when you do internal linking, just like with backlinks, it's going to improve the indexing of your website. Google's going to follow those links and index those pages. And Google does give credits from an SEO perspective, from an internal linking perspective. So if one page is linked to another and that page has really good relevance in the eyes of Google, then the other page is probably going to benefit from that. The other reason you want to do internal linking, again, you want to move people from your one page of your site to the other. And when you do that, it's going to reduce bounce rates. So bounce rate is simply the rate at which people land on a page and then leave. So if I have 100 people land on my home page and only one person went to another page and the other 99 left the site, then that's a 99% bounce rate. So by putting internal links in place, you're helping people move from one page to the other and thus reducing the bounce rate. And that's what you want. You want to keep people on your site. You want to be greedy. It also drives traffic to older posts. So again, when we say older posts, we're really referring to blog posts. So if you have a relevant blog post and you're writing a new blog post, then link the two together. If it's relevant, link it. Regardless of how old it is. You want to show Google that these older blog posts, just because they were written a year ago, doesn't mean they're outdated and old-fashioned, okay, or useless. You want to keep them alive by linking to them. So to me, that's a good strategy for internal linking. Link to older blog posts. Show people you're an industry expert. You've been doing this for a while, and then you have lots of content to share. Okay, so the longer you can keep somebody on your website, the more likely it is they're going to engage and convert. And some other inherent benefits: improves page rank. So what we mean by page rank is simply just a rank that Google gives pages. So the more internal linking you have, the better off you are. And then it helps spread link juice across websites. And what we mean by link juice, again, just like backlinking, it builds relevancy. So just keep all these inherent benefits in mind to internal linking. The end result is keeping the flow of traffic on your site, and all these other benefits will fall into place. Okay, so another way in which you can really hone in on traffic to your website is long tail keywords. And long tail keywords to me are more than just one or two keyword phrases. Okay, so they're usually 3 or longer keywords in a phrase. Okay, so long tail keywords really nowadays account for most web searches. People really take the time to even pose questions as a search query. It's unlikely somebody's going to go into search and just type in the word shoes. They might type in red shoes, but that's unlikely. What they're probably going to type in is, red Nike running shoes 2019 or some variation of that. Okay, that's a long tail keyword. And some of the advantages of using long tail keywords to be found for are less competition. So if you're using broad keywords like red shoes, then who doesn't want to be found for red shoes? Well, you don't want to be found for red shoes because it's too broad. You don't know what type of shoes somebody's looking for. You just know they're looking for red shoes. It could be running shoes. It could be work shoes. It could be, boots. It could be slippers. Okay, it's too broad. So long tail keywords help narrow it in. And the more narrow and focused a keyword is, the less competition it's going to have. And when something's not competitive in the form of a keyword, then that means your chances of ranking for that keyword are going to be greater, and the chances of you ranking faster are going to be greater. And then, of course, if somebody's looking for exactly what you have to offer, then you have a higher chance to convert that person. So if you have exactly those 2019 red Nike women's running shoes, and somebody does a search for that, and that's a long tail keyword, and they click on your organic listing, if you have the right price, then they're probably going to convert. So you have a really good chance of converting somebody using long tail keywords. So my point here is, if you're looking for keywords to use, focus on longer tail. Don't focus on 1 or 2 keyword phrases. What it also does is it brings targeted traffic. So even if somebody doesn't convert, hey, they could be back because it's exactly what they're looking for. And if you're focusing on longer tail keywords, like I just mentioned, stay away from the shorter ones. It's just easier to optimize your page for SEO. So remember, SEO is a two-pronged approach, on page and off page. We talked about off page with internal linking and backlinks. On page is all about making sure those keywords you choose are integrated in with the page you want to be found for. And so if you're using a long tail keyword, it's just easier to work that keyword in. So it enables easier on-page optimization. Okay, let's switch away from SEO to email marketing. So let's focus on email marketing as a form or method of driving traffic to your website. So email marketing has been around a long time in terms of digital marketing. Why? Because it provides an effective way to convert leads into sales. Why? Because you can send personalized emails to a target audience. So when you send an email to somebody on a regular basis, you know who that person is. So what are you doing in the email? You're writing a specific message to that person. Well, email marketing is the same thing, except you're just sending an email to a larger group of people. And when you send an email to a larger group of people, you're still going to personalize the message, right? You're not going to send a generic email to 1,000 people. Okay, nobody's going to do that. So make sure your email's targeted. And if it's targeted, it can be cost effective. Why? Because sending large amounts of emails, or let's just say an email to a large amount of people or a large group of people, is going to be cost effective. It's not cost per click, it's not cost per open. Okay, so email usually, depending on the email provider you're using, really is a flat fee. So it just really depends on how many emails you're sending or how many people you're sending the email to as well. So, but email generally tends to be more cost effective than other forms of marketing. So look at the email content provider you're using and just get a sense of what they charge. But if you look at it and do a comparison, email generally is cheaper than, say, doing pay-per-click, because with pay-per-click, you're paying for each click. Okay, so that could be expensive depending on the keywords. So email marketing is also time saving, okay, meaning it's a one-time thing and done. So once you send the email, it's just a matter of, watching and looking at the metrics and learning what's going on so you don't make the same mistakes again. But it is time conducive, meaning you send out one email and that's it. With pay-per-click, you're constantly measuring and managing the campaigns. And it provides real-time marketing. So when you do send the email, more than likely a majority of the people on day one or the day you send the email are going to be able to view it, open it, click on some of the links, and convert. So that's normally what happens in email. Majority of the people open it on day one and it kind of tails off from there. So think about it as real time. So when you send that email, and if you have 1,000 people on your email recipient list, break it up. Send the first 500 first with a different subject line. And then you can see the data come in. And if you don't see the good results from the subject line or the body of the email or, the page you're going to, then make adjustments before you send the other email to the next 500. So that's a great thing about emails. You can break up the email into two groups, the first group and then the second group with different subject lines. And you can probably send them a little bit of time apart. That way you can learn from the first email, because with email, you are generally going to get results right away. Okay, within the first 24 hours. So that's a great thing about email. Okay, so the other thing about email, it's less intrusive. So normally people who are going to get the email are the ones who sign up for the email. So they're almost expecting your email. So when they get your email, again, as long as you're not sending an email on a daily basis, normally most companies send it monthly or bi-weekly, it's not going to be as intrusive. Okay, and then it also helps build credibility, increase visibility and brand awareness, meaning you're going to build your brand in that email. You're going to put content in that email that's going to show off your credibility, meaning you could put some testimonials in the email, you could put some good affiliations, you can put a good article to an industry article you just wrote. So email is going to inherently continue to build brand awareness for you. Okay, and it's an easy way to track ROI. So if you're e-commerce, it's pretty clear. You send the email, somebody opens it, clicks on it, checks out and purchases something, it's easily trackable because you could track it right from that email. So one thing I want to say there is just if you do send an email, make sure you're tracking that campaign. And you want to be able to use an analytics program like Google Analytics. Okay, if you use Google Analytics, you're going to be able to track when you send the email, who clicks on it, and who converts. So you want to be able to measure an ROI for these emails, and you can. And that's the beauty of email marketing. Okay, let's move away from email marketing to webinars. So webinars, great method for effective social media promotion. It's a great way to bring traffic to your website. So why do we recommend webinars? Well, because it provides direct contact within your target group. What do we mean by contact with your target group? Well, you're going to host a webinar and you're going to invite this targeted group of people who are interested in your product or service. So if you have a Facebook community, you could do a Facebook Live event, or you could do a YouTube, or you can even set up a webinar on another platform but promote it on social media. And if you're promoting something on social media, you're probably promoting it to people who are already following you or like you. And so that's what we mean by direct contact with your target group. So you're going to be able to create a webinar and talk directly to that group. And that's going to help build brand awareness and credibility. And the great thing about webinars is you don't need some fancy software. I mean, I'm talking to you on a webinar right now. And so webinars are free. All you need is a video camera and a recorder. That's all. And that's all built in with software. So there's plenty of software out there that allows you just to do a webinar really quick and easy. There's lots of opportunities in software. And a lot of them are very cost effective. So if you want to create a webinar, you can do that by spending very little money. And webinars, again, allow you to talk to your targeted group, your community, maybe prospective clients. It helps build credibility and, in effect, drive traffic to your website. And when somebody does attend a webinar, they're likely going to be highly engaged because you're inviting them, they're going to opt into the webinar. And the great thing about webinars is even if they don't attend the webinar the day you have it, it's going to be recorded. So they can always go back and watch it. So whoever watches the webinar is going to be engaged because it's going to be a topic they're interested in. And then users are likely to become prospective customers. So having a webinar, talking about something inherently interesting to maybe a larger group of people, you can promote that on social media and potentially get prospective customers to sign up and watch the webinar. And if you do, they're going to be engaged and then take the next step. Oh, I like what this person has to say. They seem to be credible. I like their personality. I like their brand. I like their product. I'm going to go check out their website. Okay, so webinars allow you to kind of pull in more people as well as just your community because you can promote the webinar and you can promote it in advance and you can leverage social media for that. Okay, so something related to webinars is incorporating video content. So videos have been proven to be a really good way to attract new visitors. And it makes your website very engaging when you have videos on your website as well. So if you create video, you have an opportunity to post it on various video platforms like YouTube or Vimeo. Okay, there's plenty of video platforms out there, or just embedded in a blog post, or embedded in a Facebook post, or a tweet. Okay, so you can do a lot with video. And having video on your site is going to increase engagement. Okay, when you increase engagement, good things happen. That's going to lead to increased conversions and sales or ROI. Or just like we mentioned the webinar, can help build trust with your audience. So even that webinar you could post on your website. So you want people to engage by watching this video. If they watch the video, they're going to gain trust in you because you're talking directly to that person, that user, that audience, that visitor to your website. And when you can build trust, it's going to increase engagement. And that's the beauty of video. Unlike text or imagery, videos really do engage with the audience. And so the more video you can do, the better off you are because, again, you can leverage social to draw attention to your brand and product and service. And then you can have that video on your website to increase engagement, which in turn increases conversions and sales and improves the ROI. So always think video. There's plenty of video software out there that you can leverage. And the great thing about video too is, hey, most people are using mobile phones these days, smartphones. And so video works just as well on mobile as it does on desktop. So keep that in mind. Video is going to be engaging regardless of what device somebody uses. And then, of course, if they're watching the video on Facebook or YouTube, then chances are they're going to share that particular video, which is going to bode well for your brand and traffic. Okay, so video, if somebody likes a video, it's very easy to share video, especially from a mobile phone. So YouTube just makes it so easy to share or like or subscribe to a channel. It becomes that much easier. Things can go viral, and chances of them going viral with video are going to be greater. Okay, so other ways to drive traffic to your website is submit your content to content aggregators. So what's a content aggregator? Well, a content aggregator is like Reddit that provides a great platform for you to post your content. So that's what a content aggregator is, really a site like Reddit or Medium or Quora, where you could post content to a large number of people. Okay, so with Reddit, people are either going to upvote it or downvote it. So the more upvotes you get, or thumbs up or likes, or people who encourage that content, the more of a chance it has to be found. And so first thing out of the gate, if you do provide content to a content aggregator like Reddit, make sure it's good quality content that's interesting. And that should be the case across the board, whether it's a social post or blog post. Make sure the content's unique, professional, and interesting. And then if you do, say, put something on Medium, or you do put something on Quora, and it is professional and interesting and thought-provoking, then people are going to react to it. And then that, again, could lead to traffic. But even if it doesn't lead to traffic, it helps build brand awareness. So if you have content, just like videos, leverage it. Put the content out there. Okay? And when you put content out there, it's only going to, especially if it's good content, it's going to put you in a good light. So don't be afraid to share your content on the likes of Reddit or Medium or Quora or some of these other content aggregator websites, because good things are only going to happen. And again, referral traffic, SEO, brand awareness, conversions. So all these are inherent benefits of just sharing your content. Okay, and then finally, we want to learn from analytics. Okay, so what do I mean learning from analytics? So there are plenty of analytics platforms out there. One of the most popular is Google Analytics. So you want to make sure you're tracking traffic on your site with Google Analytics. So all you have to do is just go to Google Analytics via search, sign up, add the analytics code to your website, and voila, they're doing all the heavy lifting. They're going to track traffic coming to your website. And not only are they going to track traffic, but they're going to tell you how that traffic engaged. And so the benefits of it, Google Analytics, is, hey, you could figure out where users are coming from. Are they coming from that email campaign that I sent out to 1,000 people? Are they coming from YouTube based on that video I posted? Or are they coming from Reddit based on the content I just posted there? Or are they coming from organic search? So Google Analytics can help us understand how much traffic we're getting from organic search. So it'll help us measure our SEO efforts. And then with Google Analytics, you could segment. So we could segment by mobile, we can segment by desktop, returning user, new user, by campaign, by page, by language, by city, by region. I mean, there's so many ways in which to segment your audience. And segmenting simply is breaking up the entire group of people who come to your website into different segments based on what you want to see. So if you want to look at, females between the ages of 18 to 24 who come from mobile via organic search, that's a segment. And you can look at that information in analytics. If that's your target audience, then you could see how they're performing. Okay, so there are a lot of benefits to Google Analytics. Definitely want to take advantage of segmenting in Google Analytics. You could look at your competition. So there's a benchmarking report. The great thing about Google Analytics, you can also look at content and how your content's performing once somebody lands on your website. What page are they spending time on? What page are they engaging on the most? Okay, what pages have the highest bounce rate or the lowest time on page? So you can really determine what pages work best. And then, of course, the end result in analyzing all this data is you want to be able to fine-tune your website. So take advantage of the data that Google Analytics or any other analytics platform is giving you by learning. Once you learn what's going on with your website, you can make adjustments to your website to improve user experience. Okay, so we went over a lot of different ways to drive traffic. Okay, you can incorporate all this to your website immediately. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, ask questions. We went over a lot of different ways to drive traffic, so expect some questions. You can also go to Simplilearn.com for more information. So thank you, appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you in the future.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.